and we get it, you know, like this will challenge pretty much everything that you think you know about nutrition and training. You know, because I can only remember when I very first started, and Craig was like constantly telling me, you don't need to do cardio, Kitty. But because it was so ingrained in me, I would get my training program from him and I would go to site and I would still do HIIT sessions at the end of my workout because it was so deeply ingrained in me that I had to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But at some point you have to ask yourself, is it working? Is it getting me the result that I want? And how many more times do you want to prove to yourself that what you're doing isn't working? You know, and I think if you, you know, like we've got hundreds of testimonials, like video testimonials, photos. Kate's probably worked with hundreds of people. She's got 100 testimonials. There is enough proof, social proof that this works. You just have to do it for long enough. And you do have to get over yourself. And sometimes it's hard. You know, sometimes it is hard to really let go of those old beliefs. Sometimes your ego has to take a hit. You know, like we've had women come into our program and Craig does these like coaching calls, like they're called realignment calls. And I'll sit there and I'll listen to them. I'll be doing other work. And I remember this one lady and she's like, yeah, but I just want to keep doing CrossFit. Craig's like, but that's not working. Like, why would you keep doing something that's not getting you the result that you want? You know, and I think that's part of it is like, say, you've just got to get over yourself.
Yeah. And there is, I think, I mean, and you know, I talk about this and I'm sure you do, there is a neurological component to all this. When you've been doing something for so long, your brain is very ingrained to go right back there. Your brain likes comfort. It likes things you've done. It likes repetition. Even if everything you've been doing is completely fucked up, right? That's why, I mean, I hate to say it, but why people have a hard time getting out of abusive relationships, because you know, you do things that don't work and they're horrible and people can't understand why do you keep doing that. It's because the brain is just pulling you back into whatever that's safe, you think it's safe because it's your normalcy. And that's the same thing here, right? You've been doing something, whether it's tons of cardio or drinking kale drinks or whatever it is you think you've been doing that maybe has worked at some point, but it's really not working. Your brain's still going to want to pull you back there. And I think that's why, you know, having a community is very helpful. Submerging yourself into this kind of thinking patterns and being and following people that teach this philosophy is incredibly helpful, because there's always going to be those things that are going to pull you back, whether it's your friends or the TV or whatever marketing other tools are going to pull you, it's going to be there, right? So the more you stay into this world, the easier it's going to be for you to get over yourself and your old beliefs.
And you know what, like Kate and I still struggle with this. Like we have times, not with as in the nutrition and the training, but I in business will have times that the old stories will creep in, the old thinking patterns of how I used to do things, or, you know, like this, and I'm fine with being open and honest about things that go on in my head. But, you know, like we get a lot of shit, like people comment shit on our social media all the time. And then, you know, I'll start to think in my head, oh, you're not good enough, Kitty. You're not good enough to do this. Like, you're not polished enough. You're not articulate enough. You swear. Like, you maybe who you are is not good enough to build this and help all these women. And then I think, oh, I can't do this. And then I actually have to stop myself. Like, I stop myself. I realize what's starting to happen. And I actually tell myself, shut up, Kitty. Like, that is not true. You have done so many other things and you are who you are, and people will either love you or they'll hate you, no matter who you are. You know, part of building a business and a movement is that you are going to cop shit. Like, that is what it is. You have to you have to not let it affect you. You have to keep moving. And I just talk myself through it, and then I go and take action, and I talk to a client, or I start doing something that gives me like positive reinforcement to the story that I actually want to tell myself, that I can do this and I am capable and I am smart.
Yeah.
You know, like,
and I think, yeah, 100. And I think that's a great point, because I think people, you know, think that sometimes they see people that have it all together. And I feel like for the most part, I have a lot of it together. I don't have it all together all the time, for sure. And those voices still will creep back in, or whatever those are, right? And so you have to have the constant dialogue, and you have to have the tools to know that you got to stop that shit. Again, get over yourself, because those voices are going to creep back in, and you have to have someone say, hey, stop it. It's not true. You can move forward. And also, you know, because I know people go through this process and things aren't working as quick as their old belief systems will tell them, or they might put on a few pounds because they need to, or because their body's trying to correct itself. So their old beliefs get into the way. And I'm like, oh my God, it's not working. Oh my God. And they need to have that information where they're saying, hey, this is part of the process. It's okay. I need to allow myself to heal. Stressing about it isn't going to make it better. It's only going to make it worse. But having the comfort and understanding and the support system is going to make the process a lot easier.
Mm-hmm. And it'll continue. It doesn't matter where you get to or what, however successful you are, or like Kate says, how, you know, like even my business coach, Lynn, like he still has the same things, but it's your ability to, I guess, not correct that narrative, but tell yourself better stories, and don't let those stories stop you, because you can do this. You can. Every single one of you can do it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's like the people that go the farthest in life, they might not be the best at whatever they're doing, but they just are the most consistent. They get over the shit and they do the work. I mean, that's it, you know? I mean, and that's true in any avenue in life. And that's true in this. I mean, you don't have to be, you know, the professional weightlifter or whatever. You just have to want to do it.
And that's number 3, isn't it? Do the work. Yeah.
Do the daily work.
Do the daily work. Yeah. You look at it's the reps. It's the reps that build you. It's the consistent practice. You know, it's like everything that we teach you is a skill. Even this mindset, it's a skill that you learn, but you're only going to get better at it by getting good at it, by practicing it, right? So you can't do it 3 times and go, oh, fuck, why aren't I good at it yet? You know, I see it, it's just interesting. I see it in Lynn's group all the time. Like people will be like, oh, but this isn't working. And Lynn's like, well, how many fucking webinars have you done? I've only done 2.
Right.
You can't expect to be good at something. Like, think about when you're a kid and your kids learn to walk, like they fall over and they fall over and they fall over, and then eventually they get up, but they don't give up. They don't go, well, this is too hard, I might stop, you know. Well, they obviously don't know that. It's just ingrained in them, but then the weight of the world crushes them. No, I'm kidding. But you know what I mean? It's like you have to show up and do it daily.
100%. And I don't know where, and it maybe it's, I don't know, at some point you fail and somebody tells you, you hear it, that you can't do it or you can't succeed, or whatever message that was that you got at some point in your life. But that's just part of the process. And we all know that. I mean, every one of us knows that, you know, you got to keep taking chances to see if you can succeed. The only people that don't succeed are the ones that don't take chances, the ones that don't try, you know. And so you just have to keep getting up and try. And I know it sucks sometimes and it can be tough and or whatever. But as you always say, like, what's the option? You want to go back to where you were? Do you want to go back to doing what you did? Do you want to go back to starving and feeling like shit and like can't sleep and all these other things that were possibly happening because of your old way, you know? So it's like, just get over yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Do daily work and be consistent. And I mean, literally, that is the secret.
And be okay with failure. You have to. It's your best teacher. Like the most successful people in the world aren't successful because they've never failed. They've failed more than most have even tried.
Sure.
You know, I can't remember, there's some quote by, I can't remember who it's by. It's like, what's the difference between a master and a beginner? You know, the master has failed more times than the beginner has even tried, you know, and it's that persistence and ability to, you know, pick yourself back up and have another go. And, you know, failure, first attempt in learning, you know, I think it's easier. Like Craig always like, oh, fuck Kitty, just like a bullet a gate. But as long as it's not going to kill me, you know, I'd rather have a go and fail, because to me that it gives me good data and I can learn quicker. Like the quicker I fail, the quicker I can learn and keep going. You know, instead of looking at trying to be perfect and trying to find the perfect time to start and I've got to do everything perfectly, look at failure as just a quick way to learn, you know, and progress. That's what I think anyway. And so far it's served me well, you know.
Yeah. I mean, and I think you have, you know, like I said, you have to be honest with yourself in this process. When people, you know, will say, hey, I've been doing this. I mean, I get emails all the time. Hey, I've been peating, or whatever they say they've been doing. I don't even know what that really means, because I'm like, I don't know what that means. What do you mean, you know? And so I'm like, be more clear with me. Like, what are you eating? How much are you eating? have you been food logging? Do you take a 10-minute pulse?
Mm.
You know, what does all that look like? Right. And they're like, well, I don't do any of that.
Yeah.
Well, I don't even know what, you know, you're throwing words out there and right. I mean, so to eat this way, you need to be consistent. You need to log. You need to see what you're doing. And because just throwing a bunch of the food out there and just saying I'm doing it doesn't mean anything, to be honest with you. You do have to kind of do the process and be consistent with the process to see if, you know, you are improving. And you do need the data, the temp, the pulse, the food logging, to see if what you're doing, because, you know, I can't help you. Kitty can't help you. Nobody can help you without that kind of information, because nobody can remember what they're eating all the time, every day, through the day, exactly what that is, right? So that part of the that is important as well. But if you are consistently doing those things and shifting them and supporting yourself, right, through the process, then you're going to get benefit from this journey.
And just know that, like, true freedom isn't ever achieved without discipline. Like, this will be hard at the start because you'll be learning and logging and tracking everything, but it teaches you. That actually teaches you what you need to know so that ultimately, eventually you can be free. You know, like I think about myself, you know, now I can, you know, put the work in to improve my squat. Now when I squat, it's more second nature, all the little things that I need to do, you know, with the food, when I'm eating, I don't have to think about it anymore. I just know. I know what works, but I only know what works because I was disciplined and I tracked for a long period of time. You know, so I guess you have to ask yourself, am I willing, like, put the work in now? Like, it's only like, you might have to really knuckle down for 18 months, 2 years, then I'll be free for the next 50 years. Like, isn't that worth it? It's worth it to me, I think.
Yeah, and I think that is an important question, and people should ask themselves these questions, right? They're like, no, I really don't want to do that work. Okay, we'll see in 2 years when you feel worse. I mean, that's the other part of this, right? I mean, you know, this isn't, if you want to change, I mean, you have to want to change, and you got to be super honest with yourself, and you got to ask yourself those tough questions. Do you want to change more than going out on the weekends? Maybe not. Maybe you want to still go out all the time and eat and drink and do whatever. Okay, well then this process probably isn't the best choice for you right now. But I mean, if that's your honest to God answer, I don't really think that is for most people, but if that is where you're at, that's okay. Do what you need to do. You know, you'll go through a process and eventually you'll come back, and that's okay.
I think too, sometimes this can be confronting because, you know, we get a lot of women, they're drinking to numb issues and problems. And when they have to confront those, you know, it can be, you're like, oh, fuck, like I really have to work through something that I've been numbing for a while. But, you know, I've never heard a woman in our program go, oh, I really wish that I hadn't done that. You know, their life is better. They can tackle problems better. They're stronger.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, before I moved to California, I had a crap ass load of issues and problems and whatever. And I drank and partied like a rock star, right? And it took me 3 to 4 years of doing that. I wasn't ready. You know, you're not ready till you're ready. And when I was ready, I was like, okay, not only do I need to stop, but I need to move from this entire environment, because that's what I needed to do. I mean, I can't stay here. I knew I couldn't. And so you move, you know, but I don't ever suggest that people need to move from their home to figure themselves out. But when it comes down, I always ask myself, what's going to happen if I keep this life going?
That's a perfect question. What's it going to cost me?
Yeah. If I keep doing what I'm doing, drinking, partying, you know, pushing everything down, what's my life going to be like in 4 or 5 years? And mine was like, I'll be dead. So I made a decision. I go, well, it's going to be much easier to move and leave than to be dead. But, you know, a lot of people might be where, you know, they're like, yeah, my life is going down a toilet right now. Okay. So let's change that. Because look, I mean, this, you know, I haven't gotten to where I haven't had struggles and things and changes or whatever. And neither has Kitty. We get it. So, but you got to decide if, like, you are ready. This is where you need to be.
And you won't regret it. Like, it's so rewarding. Like, it's just such an amazing feeling, and to live your best life, you know, because you only get one. You only get one. And I don't want to look back. and regret the things that I haven't done because I was too scared and running away and numbing my pain and not, facing up to the issues that I have. And it's hard, but it's totally worth it. It's worth it.
100%. And I feel like if I was getting this message 10 years ago, because I knew from a practitioner and because it's so out there now, and it's so prevalent out there now, it would be like, God, yes. Like, and this isn't going to take you even on a physical journey or a health journey. It's going to take you on a psychological journey. So many things in your life will become better because you are putting the time and effort into yourself. And then when you do that, everything will get better. Like everything does. This isn't just about maybe you sleeping better, but you'll feel better and you're going to emotionally feel better and you're going to feel better about yourself, which is going to make you in a better relationship, a better spouse, a better mother, a better, all of those things will improve. So what's that worth to you?
We see, and I'm not saying this is going to happen to everyone, but like women in our program have come in and been in relationships and like gotten strong enough to leave their part. Like I spoke to a woman last night, one about Anna. She's incredible. She's not only had an incredible physical transformation, but she finally left her husband and took her 4 kids. She said, and this helped me be strong enough to do that because I didn't want to be in that relationship anymore. Another client, Sonia, terrible job that she hated, so stressful, causing her so many issues. Now she's got a new job. It will give you the strength and the courage to make those changes so that you can, like we say, live your best life. If I didn't eat like this, I wouldn't be doing this. I wouldn't have the energy or the strength to continue to push forward into the unknown. Because I feel like a lot of the time now, I feel really fucking uncomfortable. Like to be honest, because it's like our business is like we're pushing places that we've never been before,
Totally.
I have to step up and I have to talk more and I have to expose myself more and I have to be more vulnerable. And that scares me, but
it does. Being in this world, is because and I get it. I know you get it. We get a lot of people like bashing us and all this and that, and that's all right. I can take whatever, but we're doing it because we want to make a difference and we know we believe in the process. So people, to me, I'm always, anybody that does that, usually they need some carbohydrates. I can't really understand why anybody wants to do that. Like, to me, it's so unfathomable to me why you need to go do that, but whatever. That's a mental process in of itself. But this is, we doing this because we believe in it. You want to help people. I want to help people. And because it works, and it's just so much better than the alternative.
Totally. All right. Well, that was a good episode, wasn't it? Gee, we've talked for a while.
As we always do.
Well, thanks so much, Kate. I always enjoy
Always a pleasure
talking to you, and enjoy the rest of your ranch. How long are you there for?
A couple weeks.
Oh, nice. That's so nice. Well, I'll expect you to be looking nice and tanned when we do our next talk then. No tan lines, obviously.
Right, I'll be shirtless next time.
Yeah.
No, I really won't be. So don't tune in for that.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Kate. And I'll see you next time.
You got it, Kitty.
Bye. Bye.